Good evening and welcome to Our City. I am Babalo Kum. Tonight we'll focus on a topic that affects many communities across the Western Cape, which is gang violence. According to the most recent, the Mexican Council for Public Security and Criminal Justice, Cape Town is ranked as the 13th most violent city in the world and the most violent in South Africa. A US study in 2013 found South Africa to have the second highest rate of gang-related deaths in the world. Many communities across the Cape Flats are no strangers to guns going off and bullets flying at the hours of the day and into homes. This year, gun violence was particularly highlighted in Elsis River in May when 13 people were shot in one night and 4 public schools in Lavender Hill closed down due to gang violence in the area. In the past 2 weeks, the Kensington and Factreton areas have dominated headlines. On the morning of the 13th of July, the body of 12-year-old Ruben September was found dead after having been shot the night before amidst shootings in the area. On Saturday, 5th August, 6 people were shot and wounded in 2 separate incidences. It was reported that the victims were not gangsters, but innocent bystanders hit by stray bullets. Violence has been escalating in the Kensington, Factreton area for years, with the community Facebook and WhatsApp groups a chilling record of a community under siege, reporting gunshots and bullets flying on a regular basis. Our city went into the community to find out what it is like for the residents to live in these circumstances and how they are trying to proactively address this problem. Let's have a look.
We're actually going into Sunderland now, into a road called Ligmag Street, and on our left hand side, if we go down on the left side, this is one of our major problems in the evening with the shooting. As you will see, SAPs just pass us now because it has been a very dangerous area. We have some of the church groups that starting to do church in the evening in this road, just to keep away the shooting from the area. But sometimes it doesn't even help, because it's on a few occasions now, even with the church going, they are shooting. And these guys are not really shooting to target or shoot at somebody. We can go across the road, and then we right in the middle of gangland now, and you will see everybody will be standing around, and it's a very poor community. We can go to our left. We can go to our left here.
Okay, will be okay.
Yes, yeah. This road is, you will see that it is a road that has most probably the most gangs in it. You will see the people around in the area as well. So it is a totally complete gang area.
So, Mr. Leeds, as principal of Windermere High School, how do you think that gang violence influences the community of Kensington?
Severely. It impacts on every aspect of all the families in the community. If I just look at my school as an example, my learners, there are so many of my learners who are traumatized by what has been happening in the Kensington Factreton area this past few months. Shooting, all times, all hours of the day, 7 days a week. A number of my learners have family members who have been directly involved in the gang violence. there are also times when, because of all forms of violence, I don't get 100% attendance. Families will phone in at certain times and say, listen, you know, it's rather safe for us to keep our kids at home. Please accept that as an excuse, etc. And, you know, as a principal of a high school, you can't force parents to send their kids to school when shooting occurs. The trauma that my kids suffer, we often have to play the role of counselor. I had a case last week where one of my learners came forward with his class teacher. He went to his class teacher first, and his appeal was, you know, sir, help, I can't anymore at home. It's quite bad with the violence around him, in his home, around him. And that impacts negatively on the learning aspect. After all, our primary function is to assist with the educating and the learning. And with everything that is going on, the 100% focus of a learner is lost because they think of their safety when they must go home in the afternoons. Even some of them come to school in the mornings. They come running in here because they've heard something is happening in one of the avenues. So the attention is not solely geared towards learning. We have to look at the periphery as well. And their safety is a huge concern. The community itself, traumatized severely by what is going on. Lives are lost on a regular basis in Factreton. Just this past 3-4 weeks, quite a number of people have been shot. A few, unfortunately, have been killed. And this plays plays a huge role on the psyche of the community. People are quite scared to do the basic things, just to walk to a shop and go buy a loaf of bread. Nobody wants to send their kids to the shop anymore because they fear that the kids may be shot. And this is 4 o'clock the afternoon, 5 o'clock the afternoon. It's no longer, the shooting no longer occurs in the middle of the night. Even church attendance has dropped on a Sunday morning. Spoke to a few of the priests, the pastors in the area, and they will tell you that, you know, Sunday morning services are not as full as it used to be because of the impact of this. People prefer just to stay indoors, the safety behind a locked door. And even the safety behind a locked door is not a guarantee. Stray bullets fly all over the show. Windows get shattered. People will come out in the mornings and see there's a little bullet hole in the car or in the wall or in the gate or something like that. So yes, it is really a community under siege at this point.
We had a unfortunate incident where a young boy by the name of Ruben September was caught in a crossfire. Could you elaborate on what events took place?
Yes, allegedly what happened was he was outside for some reason. He was not at home. He was a 12-year-old youngster. And later on the night, the early hours of the morning, there was gang violence. There were people said there was something like 10, 12 shots that went off. And then he never came home. Ruben never came home. I think his mother assumed maybe that he was sleeping over at a friend's place or so. And then the following morning, one of the neighbors allegedly went outside to go and smoke a cigarette after she woke up and noticed near the train line, because the informal settlement where he lives is about 20, 30 meters away from the railway line near Kensington station. And she noticed a jacket with a hand sticking out of the jacket. And when she went to go investigate, she saw it was Ruben, and lost his life tragically and unnecessarily. You know. Now, Ruben his funeral will be on Saturday coming. If we go back, now this has been ongoing, and that is why the community is up in arms, frustrated. Back in 2015, 2 years ago, a girl by the name of Chandre Aris. She was 17 years old. She came with a group of friends. They were in a car. They came from a church event. And they went to go drop one of their friends at home. This car made a U-turn, and as the car moved away, to go and drop her and some other people. The shooting started. There was a gang started shooting, and a bullet came through the back window of the car. And she was sitting next to a friend on the back, in the back seat. And the friend, I recall the friend said she slumped forward, but she thought she was trying to take cover, and she noticed all the blood, and she died in the car at the age of 17. So 2 years later, now we have Ruben, a 12-year-old little boy, also innocent boy, and lost his life due to the senseless gang violence in our community.
As we approach the shop on the left side, or the blue shop, just past the shop, one of the youngsters was shot there recently, last week. He was shot because it's a danger area. This corner itself has been frequented by a lot of bad elements, you know. Gangs has taken over this section of the road, and we as a neighborhood watch are trying to get them to move away from the corners. I mean, we've asked the police so many times to look at, you know, this problem with them hanging around, but due to the fact of new rules and regulations come in, new policies that's come in, police hands are tied where, you know, where loitering are concerned, because there's no such thing as loitering anymore. So police can't just randomly stop and ask them to move away from the corners, which has actually created a big problem for us as a community, because this is where it all starts. These guys are loitering, they are standing around, they are observing who's going where, what are they doing during the day, and then they use that opportunity to get to our people and to get to our homes, even if they have to. And that's one of the major problems we got. The shooting that happened where we took cover the other night came from here. We were walking on the other side, they shoot right over the road here. They shoot towards the other side, and then we were caught up in between the shooting.
Which way now?
We go right, yeah.
This house here on your left, they had bullet holes through the windows.
Yes. And then we go right here again. You see this guy standing around. They don't look like it, but they are culprits. See, they are culprits, and it's like heavy gangs all around the area. And I mean, you're experiencing it yourself now. It is not a good environment for our youth itself, and it must be addressed. There's no other alternative. We can go left where the car came out. This is where we were standing when they were shooting from there, and I had to have my people take cover just around the corner here, and then we helped the youngster that came from work. We helped him. This is another corner where they hang out a lot. You see this wall here? We had to stand behind this wall.
This corner is a hot spot.
Yeah, this is a hot spot as well, yeah. You see.
And this church over here is, you know, members. I mean, is the church affected by this?
Of course, yeah, they are affected by it, because, I mean, how do you members come to church in the evening when they know there's so much shooting happening? You see, so we get back to where the school are, and you yourself, you foreign to this.
Yeah.
You yourself would say, no man, I would never take the chance to walk around in this area. What about at night? You tell yourself, no, there's no way. There's no way you will be able to walk around the area. This is a bit better.
Yeah.
You can see.
I mean, driving through the, and I mean, I'm quite scared driving through there right now.
How must a
bit anxious, eh?
a member of the community
Quite
feel?
tense.
Yes, when they have to go through there, because it can happen at any time. We actually took in charge, because people are going to tell us, are you mad? How can you do that? But the thing is if nobody showcases, nobody brings it forward, then nothing will be done to it. You see, at least now you've got this in the open, and people can see by themselves what this, it's not a story, it's a real thing, what it's all about, why the community are complaining and asking for assistance,
Yes, sir, principal.
are asking for help themselves. So it was good actually that you had the experience, and you can see, because it's quite tense, you know, it was tense, and it's not any person or news people would come out and do a shoot like that.
Yep.
Because you can be thinking you're doing a normal shoot when the shooting has been done at yourself.
It's extremely difficult for a number of my learners not to fall prey to the influence of gangs. The Factreton area is actually quite a small area. Entry into Factreton is basically via Factreton Road. So it's a very small, closed-off community. And because of that, the gangs have infiltrated into quite a lot of the households. With pride, I will say that not every household has fallen prey to the gangs. Very often, when we refer to Kensington and Factreton, we refer to it in a negative frame of mind. But there are such huge, wonderful success stories of families who have not succumbed to this, and that is brilliant. Unfortunately, it is very difficult. I'm not going to say it's easy not to succumb to gangs. The gangs are part and parcel of everybody's lives. So it is not easy to tell a child, just don't associate yourself with those who may be gangsters. Because the gangsters may be in your home, they may be the people living right next to you, opposite, behind you. So you are surrounded 24/7 by the criminal element. And what we need to do is to inform our kids what not to do, what to do in order not to give in to that temptation, to fall prey to that. And it's very difficult. And that is one of the huge challenges that my kids face. Not to give in, because it's all around them, but not to give in to that temptation and falling prey to the gangs. So that is the biggest challenge. Then you have the more concrete challenges of basically just ducking and diving for your lives when bullets fly all over the show. We speak of bullets, but obviously there are other forms of violence as well that my kids must run away from. There are unfortunately times where the kids cannot, because it occurs within the home, it occurs 2 feet from the front doorstep. So the challenges that many of my learners face, it's immense. And at Windermere, we're just extremely grateful to see a full complement each morning. So, yeah.
The current gangs basically in the community are there are 4 main gangs in the community. They are the Americans gang, the Wonder Kids, the Nice Time Kids, and there's also the 28s gangs, or the Ache as they say.